Jai Hind, myself Ravindra Kumar from EN department. I am presenting the topic that is on first unit, which is DC circuits. In this lecture series, in the previous lecture, that was the first lecture, in that I have covered some topics, those were having different topic coverage. Like in that we have covered different types of circuit elements, which includes linear, non-linear, unilateral, bilateral, active and passive elements. Then after that we have seen what are the Kirchhoff's laws and how those laws are applied in an electrical circuit in order to solve the circuit or to simplify the circuit. Then we have also seen star and delta connected circuits, in which we have seen how the different elements they are connected in star connection and in delta connection. And then after we have gone through conversion from a given star to the equivalent delta or vice versa of it. And this we have done on account of simplifying the circuit, so that we can solve the circuit easily with the help of this conversion from star to delta or vice versa of it. Now, in this lecture series, in this second lecture today, I am presenting on the topic mesh or loop analysis. Now, before going to the detail of this topic, first we will see what is the advantage of this mesh or loop analysis and why do we perform this analysis, or why do we take the analysis in the circuit by the help of this. So, whenever we are given a circuit and we are having different elements connected in the different branches in a circuit, those may be series connected or parallel connected, or it may be a combination of series and parallel connected. So, that time we are to find unknown currents and unknown voltages across the different elements or in the different branches. So, that time we have different methods for solving the circuit or for say analyzing the circuit, like we can take series parallel reduction for solving the circuit. We can also take the help of star delta conversion if it is possible in the circuit, plus we can apply Kirchhoff's laws for simplifying the circuit. In the same sequence, we go for this mesh or loop analysis for simplifying the circuit, and basically it is the application or we can say extension of KVL in a circuit. So, what we do in this, first when we are given a circuit and we are to apply this analysis, first we identify the mesh and loop in the circuit, and then we assume mesh currents in the various meshes which are available in a given circuit, and then after assuming these mesh currents, we apply Kirchhoff's voltage law, that is KVL, in the different mesh, and by solving the equations, KVL equations for different mesh, we find the unknown currents which are the mesh currents in the different mesh, and with the help of that we can find the current passing through different elements plus the voltages across the various elements. So, that is the mesh analysis briefly. What is this? Now, we can discuss it in the coming slide. We will see how we apply this in a given circuit. So, if we go for this, the topic which is covered in this, that is loop or mesh analysis, plus also we will go for super mesh analysis. So, first we will see what is super mesh and then how to analyze that super mesh with the help of it, that we will discuss under this. So, first we go for this loop or mesh analysis. So, if we see it in the mesh analysis, what we have, first we should know what is a mesh or what is a loop. So, there is a minor difference between a loop and a mesh. If we see what is loop, so a loop is any closed path. That means, in a given circuit, if we see what is a loop, so we can say it is a closed path, then we call that loop. And on the other hand, if we see a mesh, mesh is also a closed path, but the difference between mesh and loop, if we see it minorly, then a mesh is the smallest loop, or a mesh is a loop that contains no other loops. So, we can say in other words that mesh is the smallest closed path which is possible in a circuit. on the other hand, if we see a loop that may be bigger than mesh also, it may contain any other closed path inside it, but in the mesh it is itself a smallest closed path, that is why it will not contain any other closed path inside it. So, that makes the difference between the loop and mesh. So, now we analyze this for the given circuit, like in this circuit we are given this circuit. If we say it A, B, C, D, E, F, that is a complete circuit. In this it is containing two mesh number 1, that is A, B, E, F, A, which is a closed path, that is mesh number 1 we can say, and it is the, on seeing it we find it is the smallest closed path which is in this loop. Similarly, the second mesh is B, C, D, E, B. So, these are the two mesh which are available in this loop in this circuit, and we can see the various elements, they are connected in the different branches in this circuit, like a 42 volt battery with positive terminal connected to the A terminal in branch AF. Similarly, a 10 volt battery which is having positive terminal connected to terminal D in branch CD. Other than that, in branch AB we have 6 ohm resistance, and in branch BC we have 4 ohm resistance, and branch B, that is consisting of 3 ohm resistance. So, if we are to analyze this circuit by the help of mesh analysis, so first step what we do, we assume the mesh currents in the two mesh which are there in this circuit. So, in the first mesh I assume mesh current I1, and in second mesh it is I2, and we can take any orientation arbitrarily for these mesh currents, that may be clockwise or counterclockwise. So, here I have taken clockwise orientation for these two currents I1 and I2. So, now after assuming this, in the next step what we do, we write the KVL equations for this different meshes, that means for these two meshes in the circuit with the help of KVL. So, before going to that, we see what is mesh current. So, mesh current means that is the current which is passing through all the elements or all the branches which are there in the mesh. So, likewise this current I1, that is in the mesh number 1, this will pass through the battery of 42 volt, 6 ohm resistance and 3 ohm resistance. Through all these, this current I1 will pass. Similarly, the current I2 which is in the second mesh we have assumed, this will pass through a resistance of 3 ohm, 4 ohm and 10 volt battery. So, after seeing this, we can see the 3 ohm resistance, that is consisting that is carrying two currents I1 and I2 simultaneously. I1 is going in downward direction as per the orientation we have selected for I1, while I2 is going upward in upward direction as per the orientation of I2 that we have assumed. So, after seeing all such things, we can write the KVL equations for the two meshes, mesh number 1 and 2. So, if we write it for mesh number 1, the equation is that we can write with the help of KVL, that is 42 minus 6 I1 minus 3 I1 minus I2 equal to 0, or on simplification this becomes 9 I1 minus 3 I2 equal to 42. Similarly, for the second mesh, the equation with the help of KVL which can be written, that is minus 3 into I2 minus I1 minus 4 I2 plus 10 equal to 0, and on simplification this becomes minus 3 I1 plus 7 I2 equal to 10, that can be written. So, now we have two equations, equation number 1, that is 9 I1 minus 3 I2 equal to 42 for the first mesh, and second equation, that is minus 3 I1 plus 7 I2 equal to 10, that is for mesh number 2, and we have two unknowns I1 and I2. So, on solving these two equations, we will be able to find the values of I1 and I2 both, and once we find these values for the two currents I1 and I2, we can now find the current in any branch of this circuit, and if you want to find the voltage across the branch, that can also be found with the help of it. So, on simplification or on solving these two equations, we get I1 equal to 6 ampere and I2 equal to 4 ampere. So, suppose I want to find the current through 3 ohm resistance which is connected in the circuit, we can see in this 3 ohm resistance. So, it is carrying I1 and I2 current simultaneously, while I1 is going in the downward direction and I2 is going in upward direction. So, net current in downward direction, if we find, it will become I1 minus I2, or if we see it in the upward direction, this will become I2 minus I1. So, on the basis of it, when we are finding the values of I1 and I2, so we can now say the current in 3 ohm resistance is I1 minus I2, which becomes 2 ampere in the downward direction, and if we find it in the upward direction, this will become minus 2 ampere. That means, the direction will change, but magnitude will remain same 2 ampere. So, the minus sign minus 2 ampere, the minus sign in with 2 ampere, that shows that it is now in the reverse direction of the earlier direction. So, that way we solve this circuit using mesh analysis method. Similarly, if we go for this second example using the mesh analysis, then we see in this circuit we are having complete circuit A, D, E, H, A, and in this circuit we are having 3 mesh. Mesh number 1, that is A, B, G, H, A, then mesh number 2, that is B, C, F, G, B, and the third mesh, that is C, D, E, F, C. So, these are the 3 mesh which are there in this circuit. And if we talk about loops, that what are the loops in this circuit, so we can say these 3 mesh, they are itself, we can say they are the loop. Other than that, A, C, F, H, A, that is the loop, since it is containing 2 meshes inside it. Similarly, B, D, E, G, B, that is also a loop, again it is containing 2 meshes inside it, and the complete circuit, that is A, D, E, H, A, that is also a loop, since it is a closed path, and it is consisting of 3 meshes. But basically mesh, so these are the 3 meshes A, B, G, H, A, B, C, F, G, B, and C, D, E, F, C. So, now when we are to solve this circuit using mesh analysis, so in the first step, as we have discussed earlier also, we assume the mesh currents in the 3 meshes, that is I1, I2 and I3 in the mesh number 1, 2 and 3 respectively, and the orientation of these currents, that can be taken arbitrarily. It may be clockwise orientation or counterclockwise orientation, any orientation can be selected or assumed. So, in this case I have selected the orientation clockwise orientation in all the 3 mesh for these mesh currents I1, I2 and I3. So, if we write the KVL equations for the 3 mesh, again as per previous discussion, we can write the equations with the help of KVL for the 3 mesh. So, for mesh number 1, the equation will be 60 equal to 7 I1 plus 12 I1 minus I2. Since in 12 ohm branch, in the 12 ohm resistance, the 2 currents I1 and I2, they are passing simultaneously, where I1 is going in the downward direction through 12 ohm and I2 is going in upward direction through 12 ohm. So, as per the orientation of mesh current I1 in the first mesh, the net current in this 12 ohm resistance will be I1 minus I2 in the downward direction. So, on that basis we have written this equation for the mesh number 1. So, on simplifying, this equation becomes 60 equal to 19 I1 minus 12 I2. Similarly, in the mesh number 2, if we write the KVL equation, so this becomes 0 equal to 6 I2 minus I3 plus 12 into I2 minus I1. As per earlier discussion, we can write this equation again, and in this equation we see one side of the equation is 0, reason being in the second mesh there is no active source or there is no battery or voltage source etc. in the second mesh. That is why one side of the equation is 0, and on simplifying this equation becomes 0 equal to 18 I2 minus 12 I1 minus 6 I3, that becomes equation number 2. Similarly, in mesh number 3, if we see it, the equation becomes with the help of KVL again 0 equal to 6 I3 minus I2 plus 12 I3, or it becomes 0 equal to 18 I3 minus 6 I2, and one side of the equation is 0 also in this case. Again, as per the second mesh case, there is no active element or no voltage source in this third mesh also. That is why the one side of the equation is 0. So, now we have 3 unknowns I1, I2 and I3, which are the 3 mesh currents, and 3 equations we have seen for the 3 meshes with the help of KVL. So, on solving these 3 equations, we can find the values of I1, I2 and I3. So, if we solve these equations, we find I1 is 6 ampere, I2 is 4.5 ampere and I3 is 1.5 ampere. So, that way all the 3 mesh currents, they can be found using this mesh analysis. And once we find these mesh currents, now we can find the current in any branch of this given circuit, and also we can find the voltage across any branch of this circuit. Another thing which is important, like in this case, all the 3 mesh currents which we are getting, they are having positive sign with the values. That means, the direction of current or the orientation of current which we have assumed, in the current will pass in that orientation. If the value of the current which we are getting, that is with negative sign is there, suppose, so that time the direction which we have assumed, the current will be opposite to that, or in the opposite orientation of that orientation which we have assumed, in case we are getting negative sign in any current. So, that way we completely analyze the circuit with the help of it. Now, after this, once we have discussed all this, how to apply this mesh analysis in a circuit, we go for the next problem, that is what is super mesh problem, and then how to solve the super mesh problem using this mesh analysis method. So, if we see in the coming slide, this is the problem of super mesh. This circuit which is given to us, that is super mesh problem. Why it is super mesh? First we should know that what is super mesh, then by seeing the circuit we can identify whether it is the super mesh or not. So, for a super mesh, what is the condition, that if a common branch between the 2 mesh, that is having current source, so that type of circuit, that is having super mesh. Again, that means, if we are like in this circuit also, we can see in the branch CF we are connecting we are having a current source of 13 ampere. So, due to this presence of this current source in the common branch CF between the 2 mesh, so this becomes the problem of super mesh. So, here in this circuit we see there are 3 mesh, mesh number 1 is A, B, G, H, A. Similarly, the mesh number 2 B, C, F, G, B, and third mesh is C, D, E, F, C, and the mesh number 2 and 3, they are combined together, they are forming super mesh. So, in total in this circuit we are having 3 mesh, and mesh number 2 and 3 combined together, they are forming super mesh. So, this problem will be analyzed or solved using the super mesh technique or super mesh method. So, in this case what we do, first as per earlier, what we do here, first we assume the mesh currents, unknown values, arbitrary orientation in the 3 mesh. So, like in mesh number 1, we have assumed the current I1 in clockwise orientation. Similarly, in mesh number 2, current I2 in clockwise orientation, and in mesh number 3, current I3 again in clockwise orientation. After assuming these currents, next step will be, we will write the KVL equations for the 3 mesh which are there in this circuit. But if we see it here, in mesh number 2, we cannot directly write the KVL equation, and similarly in mesh number 3 also we cannot directly write the KVL equation, and the reason for that is that in the common branch of these 2 mesh, there is a current source, and we are not knowing what is the voltage drop across this current source. So, that is why what we do in this case, we form 3 equations, since 3 unknowns are there, I1, I2 and I3. So, 3 equations are required. So, we form 3 equations. How do we form those equations? What we do in this case, in mesh number 1, we can write the KVL equation, there will be no problem in this. But in mesh number 2 and 3, one equation will be written for this current source of 13 ampere, which is connected in the common branch CF of mesh number 2 and 3, and this current 13 ampere, that will be the resultant of mesh current I2 and I3. So, one equation will be formed with the help of this, and the third equation, that will be formed in the outer loop, that is combination of these two mesh. So, the outer loop BDEGB, in that outer loop we write the KVL equation using KVL for this circuit. So, now we have three equations and three unknowns are there, I1, I2 and I3, and after solving those equations we can find these three unknowns I1, I2 and I3. Now, when we are taking this outer loop BDEGB, what we do? We assume any arbitrary orientation for this outer loop also. It may be clockwise or anti-clockwise orientation, any one, but at the same time we are to take care that the mesh current orientation I1, I2 and I3, they should not be disturbed. Whatever assumed earlier for I1, I2 and I3 orientations for I1, I2 and I3, they should remain as it is, they should not be disturbed when we are taking the orientation for this outer loop BDEGB. So, now after seeing all such discussions or after seeing all such things, we can write now the KVL equation for the mesh number 1 and the KVL equation for outer loop BDEGB and the current equation for current source of 13 ampere in terms of I2 and I3. So, if we see what will be the equations that we can see in the coming slide. So, if we see here the KVL equation for the super mesh, this is minus 5 into I2 minus I1 minus 6 I3 minus 13 equal to 0, or this can be written as minus 5 I2 minus 6 I3 plus 5 I1 equal to 13. If we see in the previous slide, we can see it that for this super mesh, when we are taking, it is consisting of 6 ohm resistance, 13 volt battery and 5 ohm resistance. So, we are to see the voltage drops across all such elements which are in this super mesh, and then as per the orientation of I2 and I3 and the loop orientation, we write this equation which is this for super mesh, that is minus 5 I2 minus 6 I3 plus 5 I1 equal to 13. Next, the KVL equation for mesh 1, that is written simply as per earlier discussion, 4 I1 plus 5 into I1 minus I2 equal to 75, or that can be written also 9 I1 minus 5 I2 equal to 75. Now, the third equation which is written for the current source of 13 ampere, that equation will be given by I3 minus I2 equal to 13. This is the equation for current source branch. How do we write it? That is simply we can see it in the previous circuit. This 13 ampere current that is going in the upward direction in the circuit in this branch CF. That means, this current is going from point F to point C. Now, in this branch CF, I2 current as per the orientation we have assumed, which is the mesh current I2, that is going downward direction, and I3 current as per the orientation we have assumed, this is going in upward direction. So, the net current in CF branch in the downward direction is I2 minus I3, or if we see it in the upward direction, this becomes I3 minus I2, and 13 ampere current is also in the upward direction. So, on that basis we can write I3 minus I2 equal to 13. So, that way we write this equation, that is equation number 3 for the current source branch, that I3 minus I2 equal to 13. So, now after all this analysis, we find here the three equations are there now and three unknowns are there, I1, I2 and I3. So, on solving these equations, we can find the values of all these three unknowns I1, I2 and I3. So, it is after solving the equations, I1 coming as 5 ampere, I2 is minus 6 ampere and I3 is 7 ampere after solving these equations. Another thing, as already we have seen, here we see I1 and I3, they are with positive sign, but I2 that is having negative sign, that means I2 which we are getting minus 6 ampere. So, this indicates that the current I2, the orientation of that current which we have assumed, this current is actually in reverse orientation or the opposite orientation of that due to the negative sign. If it is happen to be positive sign, like in case of I1 and I3, that time whatever assumption we have made for current I1 and I3 orientation, the current is also in the same orientation due to positive sign, but with the negative sign, that time the orientation will be reverse of that we have assumed. That means, in the circuit that we have seen, we have taken the orientation for I 1, I 2 and I 3. So, all these 3 currents that we have assumed, they are in clockwise orientation, but now when we are solving the equations and getting the values of I 1, I 2 and I 3. So, that time I 2 is coming with negative sign. It indicates the orientation of I 2 will be opposite to it. That means, I 2 will be actually in the counterclockwise or anticlockwise orientation due to the negative sign obtained with I 2. That way, we completely analyze the given circuit, which was the problem of super mesh. Thank you.